Okay, Gautam Mukherjee was a senior journalist with us on the broadcast. Vishal Sharma representing the BJP. We'll get a contra voice from Syed Abbas to essentially be the contra voice for Vishal Sharma. Ankitkumar, who's a manufacturer of tricycles, is in fact also a voice as far as industry is concerned on the panel. And in fact, Ankit, let me start with you. You know, those announcements have now been digested by us. We know the fine print. A lot of analysis has gone into it. But I want to ask you this, that at the end of the day, the economic crisis translates into either a growth in jobs or salaries or the lack of it, as far as, the viewers watching this, for us, and the average Indian is concerned. Around the world, that's what economic prosperity or the lack of it means. How soon can you see pain receding? Have we reached the end of the nadar in terms of the economic activity coming to a grinding halt? And when can we expect a recovery? Ankit. Okay.
Thank you, Gauri. So basically, see, it's an unprecedented time. We haven't seen this kind of a time. At least I remember 100 years down the line, we haven't seen such kind of things happening. So whatever stimulus package, economic package which has been announced by our finance minister and the prime minister, it has got some benefit, definitely, in terms that the MSME sector can take advantages of the loans and the interest waiver which has been given. But when you see down the line, how does it impact the direct beneficiaries and the laborers, that impact is going to take some time to come. Now, as an industry into a rising sector, from the EV perspective, we haven't seen a much impact coming from the stimulus package which has been given. We see that there will be some impact to scale up, but right now nobody is looking at taking initiatives to scale up and to go in different directions. Okay. Right now the idea is that wherever we were 3 months back, we should come to that level first and then look into how we want to grow and prosper from there on.
Okay, Vishal, come in there, respond to it. And before we take this between Vishal and Syed Abbas, it's my request to both of you, let's make this a meaningful discussion. He said, she said, I did this, she said this, doesn't take anybody anywhere, least of all those people who are concerned about their job security. Mr. Vishal Sharma, go ahead, you have the floor.
The government of India has taken an unprecedented step for this economic stimulus package. It is equal to 10% of India's GDP. No other country in the world has put that huge percent of its GDP as an economic package. Now, things take time to manifest. In economics, there's a concept of elasticity. Elasticity is the time taken for effects to manifest. And companies have a greater elasticity when it comes to imposing cuts than to expand. But India's demand, it's only a matter of time when India's aggregate demand will increase. What we are experiencing today, the temporary contraction that we're experiencing, it's a temporary phase. India, after all, is a home of 135 crore people. That is 17% of humanity. 12 times the population density of the United States. Okay. That's what I say. Pink slips are a temporary phase. They will dampen consumption in the short run, but demand will pick up. Your question was, how much more do we have to wait? I feel that the monsoons are coming. After monsoon, the Diwali period will come. Around Diwali, we expect the demand to really rise up, and you will see that these pink slips will be converted into green slips. We will see employment expand, we will see agro incomes increase, and certainly we will see the MSME sector take advantage of this huge,
Okay, there was no bumper Diwali last year, so I really don't know how much of a bumper Diwali we'll see this year. But, before I get Syed Abbas to counter what you're saying, I want to ask you this, sir, that the tragedy of an economic crisis is that people's despair gets reduced to statistics and numbers. And that's the tragedy of an economic crisis. We are only speaking in numbers and not being able to just talk about the scale at which families get impacted when jobs are lost. I want to ask you, sir, that do you think that the appeals that the Prime Minister made, he made 2 appeals for the private sector, that don't sack people, try and ensure you don't sack people, make sure you make room for them. has obviously not translated into jobs being secured. Respond to that, and then I get in Syed Abbas.
See, the Prime Minister has made a humanitarian appeal to everybody that this is not the time to sack people. It is very humane of him to have made that. If any company is sacking anybody right now, the government would take cognizance of this, and the Labour Ministry would have to play in it. But 66% of India's labour force is agro-related. 66%. It's a huge number. It's more than the population of some countries. Now, our focus is on the marginalized, the MSMEs, those people who can really impact employment generation. But today, as you mentioned, that Uber has laid off some people. There are some other companies that are laying them off. But this is not a mass phenomenon. I disagree with the fact that companies across the board are laying out people. No, I do not accept that. What we are seeing right now is a contraction of demand. But this demand, let the economy go, let the lockdown get over.
Okay, so some of the figures that I have.
Demand pick up.
Okay. So the figure pertaining to CMIE, I'm going to come back to that. That's the only authentic labour data we have. Syed Abbas, respond to Vishal Sharma, then I get in Gautam Mukherjee.
I think firstly, Gauriji, I agree with you. As a matter of fact, in these times, a discussion like this should remain a discussion than turn into a heated debate. But the right questions need to be asked. That is the need of the hour. It's very unfortunate what I happen to read today with respect to Uber and Swiggy and so on and so forth. It is very unfortunate. But I think what we need to look at is what is the solution, so that there are so many other companies which are also ready with pink slips. How do we deal with that? At this economic crisis, what is the solution? As a matter of fact, if I could understand from the other panelists, what could it be? I'd certainly raise questions. But how would the corporates, how would the government come together so that there is no job losses? Because job losses, I agree with a couple of statistics where my good friend from the BJP, Vishal, has made. Yes, sir, I do agree with you. But what is the government doing to stop this? What are the measures you are taking and what are the solutions? Let's make it a constructive discussion, and I'm merely seeking for answers.
No, but that's what he has said, that the FM has announced all those measures. Wait for it to now come in.
We shall wait for its implementation then.
Okay.
Certainly, we shall wait, and how we can reduce this laying off and so on and so forth, how that could be reduced, and what is the... I'd like to know, idea isn't everything. Execution is the most important factor here.
He's asking some questions. Can I come in now or do I wait for my turn?
Can I just bring in Gautam Mukherjee? He hasn't had a chance to speak till now.
Yeah, sure.
The CMI latest data, Gautam Mukherjee, that we have is that people in the age group of 20 to 30, those who spend so much more on consumption, a lot of them really power up India's consumption expenditure. 27 million of them lost their jobs until 2020. Things are not improving in May, and they're unlikely to do so anytime immediately. I want to ask you the question that I started this discussion with, which is that how soon can we expect the needle to move? Because we're talking about very, very large numbers here.
Very frankly, not for a long time. This 1 lakh sick people and 3,000 dead has come at a huge cost. We're busy patting ourselves on the back about how well we've handled COVID. But it has come at the cost of 40 million people in 40 crore people in deep distress, and another 40 crore in great financial stress. Also, 40 crore at the bottom of the pyramid are starving. The next 40 are dying. The next 40 crore are in deep trouble. There is no money. Now, the way the government has played this is that it will give you loans. Now, for loans, you need to get back to business. And to get back to business, I find the state governments are being coy about the manner in which they open this up. So if I open my factory and I can't get my supplies, or I go to my construction site and I can't get my bricks and I can't get my cement, let alone the labor which is run in every direction. It is a mess. So now we're paying the bill for this COVID lockdown, and it is foolish to talk in terms of economics. I could as well, but it is a human disaster, and the cost in terms of other people who will be affected for this, trying to save people from this virus is going to be tremendous. And ongoing for a few years yet.
So, whichever sector you take industry, you take services, the only saving grace is that the agriculture sector is likely to, of course, not get impacted so significantly. In industry and services. I'm just going through some CRISIL data. You can take whichever sector, dissect it, slice it, dice it, whichever way you want to. It's equally bad across the board. Okay, Vishal Sharma, respond, and then I get in both Syed Abbas as well as Ankit.
Mr. Gautam Mukherjee's statement that 40 crore people are dying, there is 400 million people, I just reject it outright.
Oh, you would, because it's easy to do so. But the fact is, these are people who work for the MSME sector and their turns.
So I did not interrupt you.
Right.
Please extend me the same question.
Okay.
So the views of Mr. Mukherjee are very apocalyptic, and I just reject them outright. But what I would say is that no government has a magic wand. The situation is not as desperate as Mr. Mukherjee is pointing it out to be. Yes, if there are some job losses, it is because the economy as a whole, for 2 months we have had a lockdown. But India is a rich country. India is a rich country of poor people because our per capita income is very low. So what was the first priority of the government? Roti, Suraksha and Yatayat.
Sir, we're talking about job security here, sir. We're talking about job security. And I'm not just talking about white collar, I'm talking about blue collar jobs also.
Madam, jaan hai to jahan hai.
Honest.
And then we have to save the lives of our people, ensure that there is food available to everybody, there is security, and those migrant laborers, we have the largest number of migrant labor population moving anywhere in the world. They are transported to their place securely. And they have also given a stimulus package. It's a massive stimulus package. Show me one country in the world, Mr. Mukherjee, or my...
It's the loan package, not a grant.
Sir, it is made...
Yeah, only when you're back in the business, not before. Right now, people are starving.
But you tell me, so people are starving. You show me example of someone who's starving on a mass level or a population that is starving.
Do you watch television or just look at your own notes?
Sir, you cannot be a mouthpiece of leftist propaganda.
I'm on the right for your information. Everybody knows that.
No, Mr. Okay, let me come in here. Okay, let me come in here. Okay, let me come in here. Okay, all right, gentlemen. Okay, Vishal Sharma, if somebody disagrees with your package, you cannot just turn around and junk it as leftist propaganda. Maybe that is part of the problem. Maybe that is part of the problem.
Some common sense.
Madam, your learned panelist has made a statement on national television that 100 million people are dying. I mean, if that is not a propagandist, complete
Ankit Kumar.
Then what is?
Okay, Ankit Kumar, I want to bring you in. Syed Abbas, I'm going to give you a chance. But Ankit, let me then bring you in. You're hearing the political side of this discussion. But the fact is, do you think, in your assessment, keeping in mind how industry is right now, I mean, I use the word comatose very responsibly when I talk about the Indian economy right now. In your assessment, do you think the jobs issue has worsened and has reached its limit, or do you think there is still more pain before recovery begins?
No, see, so job losses are certainly there, but in my opinion, this is just the tip of the iceberg. So you are going to see much worse than this. I mean, today only the layoffs are happening at a part by tech companies. So when you talk about Uber, Swiggy or Zomato laying off these people, I mean, look at these people when they have been hired. They have been hired at 3x, 4x the packages. So they have been paying pretty high to these people who have been now given the pink slip. And when you look at these companies, these have not emerged as a logistic company or as a food company or a restaurant company. They have emerged as a tech company. So they have been working, and when they were at the peak of the demand also, they were burning a lot of cash. So right now, they're looking at how we can stop burning cash and look for a larger runway, because we don't know when the market is going to come back. So job losses which are happening today is primarily happening at that end. But when the market opens up, you will see that there is a limited demand for the non-essential goods which are there. Essential goods will certainly take up and is taking up, and most of the people are now shifting towards additional revenue generating businesses.
Okay.
So you look at Uber announcing to get into hyperlocal delivery, Amazon announcing to getting into hyperlocal delivery. That's only for the matter that they understand that the essential services are going to certainly pick up, and we should be there in that particular segment.
Okay.
But the layoffs and the job crisis is going to get more bad in the coming days as well.
Okay, so Syed Abbas, add to it, and then we'll get Vishal Sharma to answer on both issues. One, what Ankit is saying right now about it may get worse, and Syed, add to it if you have something, because then we'll get a collective response from BJP.
I'd like to understand the comment which my good friend Vishal Sharma has made here. He said, he made a oxymoronic statement there, saying that India is a rich country with poor people. Is that one of the jumlas that you're being followed? Then I must say that you're following Prime Minister Modi's jumlas very well. Respected sir, if you'd have taken a leaf out of what Mr. Abhishek Banerjee said, a Nobel laureate, that a loan will not help the debt-ridden farmers or the Kisans in any way. A mere cash amount, a direct transfer of rupees 7,500 to the least will help in a big way. So respected sir, I am not left, right either. I am just a common man asking questions. If you could please answer me, Vishal Sahab, and if you could also please
Okay, let's get him to answer. We're running out of time. Okay, let's get him to answer. We're running out of time. Yes.
I know, Syed, I'm sure you know economics 101 at least before you speak on economic issues. Our GDP can be explained as a table with 4 legs: consumption, investment, government expenditure, and net of import exports. Right now, what we are seeing a temporary contraction of consumption. Why? Because of lockdown. Once the lockdown opens, consumption will increase. And who consumes? It is the households that consume.
Sir, respond to what Ankit has also said.
It may not pick up as much as you want, but it will. The second point is investment. Who makes the investment?
Sir, this is not a tutorial on economics. Please respond to what Ankit has also said. Please respond to what Ankit has said.
The government has given an economic packages
Sir,
to
please
enable
respond to what
investment to
Ankit
happen
is
in
saying.
India.
Sir, respond to what Ankit is saying. He's the voice of industry. He is saying it may get worse. All right. Please respond to that.
Why loan the
Vishal Sharma, respond to what Ankit Kumar
Why
has
not
said.
give them a direct cash transfer?
Okay, Ankit Kumar's question.
May I respond to Ankit's question, please?
Yes.
Ankit has said that the job losses in certain industries, maybe in industries like Uber or Swiggy, there the job losses have occurred and the situation may get worse there. But I feel that, this job loss is a temporary phase. This will not continue ad infinitum. It will pick up, at the beginning of this debate you asked how much time would be required. It is my view that it will take 1 to 2 quarters. Let us wait for at least a quarter or 2 for the economy to pick up. You just cannot write off India. Everybody in the world is betting on India, and the learned people on this panel are writing off India as if there's an apocalyptic situation in India. I reject that. At present, job losses cannot be construed to be that the Indian economy is in doldrums.
To accept, construct, and go ahead. You didn't answer me. Why loan the debt-ridden farmers? Why don't give them a cash transfer?
You know what? Let's. Okay, all right. I'll have to come in there because I specifically asked and focused on jobs because, as I said, economic prosperity translates into either better jobs, higher salaries, better take-home packages for everybody. That's really the bottom line. And we are far from it right now. The pain is quite acute. And the question was simply that, is this going to last? Are we now going to turn a corner from here on? And Gautam Mukherjee, now I want to ask you this. What would be that one specific measure that you think that the government can do from here? You know, these are private sector companies. They are under no obligation to follow the government diktat, so to say, as far as job security is concerned. But it's a reflection of the economy, obviously. But now tell us, what would be that one measure that you would want the government to focus on for job security?
I think the first thing that they should do is stop this endless lockdown, which they are incompetent to deal with. They can lock this down and lock it down and play footsie with this forever, but are they in a position to deal with the economic and the human consequences? My answer is flat no. They have no idea what they have unleashed. They are not America.
Okay.
They are India, and they do not have the capacity to deal with this.
Okay.
And therefore, first thing, take off the lockdown as quickly as you can, except for the acute hotspots, so that people are able to help themselves. Secondly,
no, only one thing. I'm running out of time. Only one thing, please.
Go after the companies and, promote loans. Beg people to take loans. Not sit on your high horse and
Ankitkumar, I want you to tell us, as a voice of the industry, what would you want the government to do for job security? Yes.
Okay, so I have a couple of suggestions here. So I second Gautam on the part that the lockdown has reached its limitations now and it should end, because you have to come out of this and you have to learn how to live with coronavirus ultimately and settle down and have this as a new normalcy. Now, but I would say again that the government is midway in terms of implementing such kind of activities which can increase the amount of jobs in other sectors. So I was very impressed by what the FM announced earlier, that the space, defense and the aviation industry would be somehow opened up for the private participations to come in. Now, those are the sectors which needs to be focused and implemented in a way to create such jobs in those sectors. So it's midway in terms of announcing, but how the implementation will go, the time is going to say that.
Okay, all right. Syed Abbas, very quickly.
Very good point. Certainly, I think I also agree with the economist on the panel. It is high time that the economy sets to go, and Mr. Ankit has made a very valid point that it is time that we start living with Corona, and of course taking all the precautions, and of course giving a thumbs up to our government in power as well, so that they are able to better manage and take things for a brighter future.
All right, okay. Thanks much to the entire panel. Vishal, that was meant for you to be able to assimilate because, I'm assuming some of these suggestions hopefully will reach further. Let it be an ongoing process. That's the appeal. Let it not be a single one-time exercise. It should be an ongoing process, because, as I said, when jobs are at risk, families stand to get devastated, and you're talking millions and millions right now. Hopefully, we'll turn a needle sooner than later. On that note, thanks much for watching this special debate.